So, ladies and gentlemen, in the 1973 NFC Championship game, Roger Staubach was pretty well limited. He couldn't do anything, and he didn't go back to defend their Super Bowl championship because he drove Captain America nuts. And one of the main cogs in that strong wheel that destroyed Dallas on that day was this guy. He passed away from dementia today, October 8th. But I'll remember him as probably the best small quarterback of my era that we would see all the time. One of the best ever in the NFC. The great Pat Fischer. He's passed away again at age 84. Now, he played cornerback in the NFL for the Cardinals from 61 to 67, but his key years were with the Redskins from 68 to 77. Now, he attended Westside High School in Omaha, 5'9", and he also attended University of Nebraska at Lincoln. At Nebraska, he played safety, tailback, and spent some time at quarterback. Now, he was pursued by both the NFL and the AFL, albeit late due to concerns over his size. He was drafted in the 17th round by the St. Louis Cardinals in 61. He was also recruited by the great Dallas Texans. He described the latter as a fallback. I thought the NFL was a better league. If I didn't make the Cardinals, I could always go out and try for the Chiefs. Fischer was used for occasional kick returns in his rookie season, and he recorded no defensive statistics that year. That would change in his second season in limited form. In a September 16 game against Philadelphia, he recorded his first interception of 56 in his career off quarterback Sonny Jurgensen. He did not play again for 8 weeks. He recorded 2 more interceptions that season. He made improvement in time with the 63 campaign, which saw him record an interception of 10 games he played, which included a 2-interception game on December 8 against Philadelphia. Now, nicknamed the Mouse, he was that quick. You think the pass was going to go to the receiver, Fischer would be right there. He played in 9 games the next year and recorded an interception each one for a total of 10, which included 2 games on multiple picks and touchdowns in back-to-back games. Now, when injuries limited Fischer in 66, he only had 1 interception. He had disputes with Cardinal head coach Charlie Winter, not a winner for many, ladies and gentlemen, that influenced him to leave the Cardinals in free agency. He then signed with the Redskins, and the rest is history. Ending up there in 68, in the first of only 4 times the NFL exercised a Roselle rule, the Cardinals received a 69 second-round selection, which ended up being Rolf Kuger, and a third-round pick, which ended up being Colorado defensive back Eric Harris as compensation. He eventually became a 69 Pro Bowler. The 71 season saw the arrival of George Allen as head coach, and he instituted an approach to using veteran players exclusively like Fischer to the point where his teams would be dubbed the Over-the-Hill Gang, as the average age of starters was over the age of 30. Fischer would play a key part for the team in the following campaigns. Now, talking in that the NFC Championship game against the Cowboys, the Redskins system limited Roger Staubach to only 9 completions, 20 attempts for 98 passing yards and 3 sacks. And Fischer and the great Mike Bass, the other cornerback, being particularly successful in shutting down their wide receivers. But though the Redskin defense allowed only 69 net passing yards, it could not stop the running game of the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, who had 184 rushing yards as they won Super Bowl VII. Now, he recorded his first only playoff interception in 74 against the Rams in a 19-10 loss in the divisional round. Fischer would record his last interception on December 5th, 76 against the Jets. He would play a couple of games in the 77 season, but not record a statistic in any of them. A back injury led to his retirement that year. Now, he finished his 17-year career with 56 picks, and he ranked 7th all-time in Redskins career interceptions with 27, and 4th all-time with 412 career interception return yards. Now considered a top 80 Redskin player of all time, the 56 interceptions were tied for 6th most in NFL history. In a near half-century since his retirement, he still ranks among the top 20 all-time. At the time of his retirement, he had played in 213 NFL games, then a record for a cornerback. He was well known for his strong tackling skills despite his diminutive size. Some of Fischer's most memorable defensive matchups occurred against the Eagles receiver Harold Carmichael, tall as a house, who stood 11 inches taller than Fischer. Fischer's mantra, "Get a leg up and you own him," is used today to motivate and teach smaller defensive backs how to defend taller wide receivers. Now, Fischer, alongside fellow Cardinal safety Larry Wilson, were prolific defenders, and the Cardinals, in attempting to deal with the problem of having a defensive hole left by a charging Wilson to safety blitz, found a way to try and deal with the problem in the bump and run coverage, in which Fischer would physically harass receivers. He wasn't the first to utilize this tactic, as it started with Willie Brown early in the decade of the 70s, but Fischer and defensive coordinator Chuck Drulis utilized the coverage to great effect. Now, in the late 1980s, NFL Films named Fischer as the Redskins' all-time neutralizer sponsored by Tums. After retiring from the Redskins, he worked as a stockbroker and owned a successful real estate company. In 2003, he was named the Professional Football Research Association Hall of Very Good in the association's inaugural class. Now, the Mouse had been, as of 2014, he's been sick ever since. He was suffering from dementia, cognitive decline, and severe memory loss, and was residing in an assisted living facility. He died on October 8, 2024 in Leesburg, Virginia, at the age of 84. So I remember this guy like it's yesterday. We tried watching Dallas against the Redskins. I don't think home field advantage was enough of a description how good Washington was on that day. But George Allen had big faith in this guy to get it done, and that's what he did. It's too bad no one was going to beat the Dolphins that year, and of course they went 17-0. So the native of St. Edward, Nebraska, 5'9", 170. Again, the graduate of West Side, Nebraska College. Picked in round 17, 232nd overall in 61. Cardinals 61-67. Redskins 68-77. Two-time first-team All-Pro, 64-69. Two-time second-team All-Pro, 65-72. Three-time Pro Bowl, 64, 65, 69. George Halas Award, 78. 80 greatest Redskins. And the Washington Commanders Ring of Fame, which, of course, recognizes the previous team's names, the Washington Redskins. So there is some tape out there through NFL Films when the Redskins would play, obviously, the Eagles with Harold Carmichael. But how does a quarterback only 5'9" battle a huge monster like, Carmichael had the personality of a wrestler. He was that tough. So basically his style, ladies and gentlemen, which is kind of mimicked a lot, it's a combination of speed and being aggressive in a positive way. You go either for the ball carrier's legs or you go for the right in front where the passing lane is. And that's why he was so good on the interception. And when he would catch a ball, just like Deion Sanders, I'm not saying there's any comparison because Deion was a pretty well the mastery at the defensive position he was at. What he did was basically make Washington and the Cardinals a defensive stalwart. And with the Redskins of the 70s, the reason why they could rely on their defense at times to turn games around was Pat Fischer. And the craziest point is he can always say he stopped Captain America in a sure bet to have a rematch against the Dolphins Super Bowl, but it wasn't meant to be. So that's a story of the very underrated and the very talented Pat Fischer. It's an honor to do something on him for the Redskins fans here. If you like what you're doing here with our NFL Vintage podcast, let us know in the like, comment, subscribe, or share.